Somewhere in the invisible realm, a name has been spoken. Your name, whispered on angelic winds, echoed in sacred places, written into divine timing. You have not been forgotten. You have not been waiting alone. In fact, they've been thinking of you more than you could ever know. You see, this isn't just attraction. This isn't fantasy. What's stirring in their heart is ancient, holy, chosen, a soul tethered to yours by something heaven scripted before either of you ever breathed. And right now, the one your heart never stopped aching for, they're stirring. They're waking. They're remembering. They're feeling something pull them in a direction they can't explain. That direction is you. For months, even years, they've resisted the tug. They've tried to distract themselves, bury the ache, reason away the signs. They told themselves it's too late. They whispered in fear. What if they've moved on? They even tried to convince themselves they imagined it all. But no matter how far they've gone, no matter how much they've tried to numb or run, heaven keeps rerouting their heart. Come home, the angels whisper. Remember who they are to you. In the middle of the night, while they walk through familiar places, while their hands hold things that don't quite satisfy, your energy returns. Your presence is felt in silence. And it's not obsession. It's recognition. Their soul remembers the way yours used to light them up. Even if their mind forgot the path, why now, they wonder. Why can't I forget them? Why do I feel like something's missing without them near? Because you were never supposed to be forgotten. You were supposed to be found again. Angels are moving. They're not just healing your heart. They're working on theirs too. They're untangling fears, breaking timelines, aligning paths. A surprise is forming, not the kind you plan, but the kind heaven reveals. It might arrive in a message that shows up when you least expect it. It might come through a voice that once went silent. It might arrive as a confession, a return, a moment where their heart finally speaks. But know this, it will come when the veil lifts and their soul finally says, I remember you. I never stopped. Because, beloved, timing is everything in love designed by heaven. You weren't forgotten. You were being protected. You weren't overlooked. You were being prepared. Not just for love, but for love that lasts. Both of you needed to grow. Both of you needed to release. Both of you needed to rediscover your voice before your hearts could speak the same language. And now the angels say, the energy is building. The veil is thinning. The reunion is near. The angels have one request for you, not to perform, not to chase, but to prepare. Even if it's scared, even if it's been betrayed, even if it doesn't believe yet, let it soften. Because what's coming needs a place to land. This is not a fairy tale. It's a sacred story. Faith anchors it. Fear delays it. Not just theirs, but yours too. Let go of the residue of disappointment so your soul can receive something new. Be love to yourself, to others, in every word. The more you embody it, the more it flows back to you. This isn't new. You've seen their face in dreams. You've heard their name in random places. You've felt their energy, even in silence. Because this is no coincidence. This is a spiritual contract written in a higher realm before time was born. And now the ink is glowing again. Child of light, we know your heart has been tired. We know you've doubted. We know you've cried. But the moment is closer than you think. No, they won't give an exact date. But they will say this, soon your spirit will feel it. A quiet anticipation, a soft excitement, a return of hope, not forced but familiar. You may start seeing signs. Repeated numbers, dreams of reunion, sudden memories, synchronicities that feel too specific to ignore. Pay attention. You're not imagining it. Love is moving, and the one your soul has waited for is almost home. There is movement now. You may not see it with your physical eyes yet, but something in the spirit world is accelerating. The angels are whispering your name into their dreams. Your memory has become magnetic. They hear your laugh in quiet moments. They feel your absence like a rhythm out of sync, and they're finally asking the question that unlocks the path home. What if they were never just a chapter? What if they were the story? They may smile in public. They may function at work. They may go about their routine, but inside, there's an ache, a holy unrest, because what once distracted them no longer satisfies. What once numbed them now only reminds them of you. Even the silence starts to sound like your name. They're not running anymore. They're remembering. The angels want you to understand something. This delay has not been rejection. It has been resistance. They've been afraid. Afraid that you're too good to be true. Afraid that their pain will ruin something so pure. Afraid that you deserve someone whole, and they're still healing. But the angels have been surrounding their heart, speaking courage into their fears. Love doesn't wait for perfection. They whisper. Love arrives when surrender begins. They're standing at a threshold now, between comfort and calling, between fear and forward, between the old story and the one they know is still unwritten with you. And soon, very soon, they will choose love, because heaven has made it undeniable. Everything around them will start pointing in your direction, a song on the radio, a phrase in a book, a place they both remember and regret. Your name whispered in a dream, so vivid it feels like a memory. They will know, and when they do, the first step home will begin. Right now, beloved, the angels are doing something behind the veil. They're softening hearts that were once closed. They're dissolving shame that kept them silent. They're removing voices of confusion from their path. They're clearing old wounds that blinded them to your light. Everything that stood between you and this person is being handled. Not by force, but by divine orchestration. You don't have to chase what God is sending. You only have to receive what heaven aligns. This is not just about them. God is preparing you, too. Because love like this can't meet a closed heart. It needs space to bloom. So ask yourself, are you open to love again? Not just in theory, but in practice, have you forgiven those who weren't this person but still left scars? Can you trust God to write the next chapter without needing to control the pen? These are not small questions. They're spiritual gatekeepers. And the more honest your yes becomes, the more quickly love returns. It may come as a text you thought would never come. It may be a phone call with trembling honesty. It may even be their physical presence. Standing at your door, hands shaking, heart full, finally ready. They may say, I don't know where to begin, but I couldn't stay away any longer. I've never stopped feeling it. Not even for a day I was scared. But I'd be more scared to never find out what we could have been, and when they speak, your spirit will know. This is it. This is the moment I felt coming for years. They ask one thing of you, the same thing they've asked from the beginning. Stay open. Stay ready. Stay expectant. Because this love is not a test. It is a gift. And it's almost here. Say it softly. Say it boldly. Say it like you mean it. I believe in love that returns. I release fear. I open my heart. I am ready for the miracle I once thought was lost. When you say that the heavens move faster. When you believe that the veil thins. Because when you walk in faith, even while waiting, angels begin preparing the room where reunion takes place. You are never waiting alone. Heaven was guiding both of you back to where it all began, back to each other. The sky doesn't always thunder when love returns. Sometimes it happens in stillness. Sometimes in the middle of a very ordinary moment, destiny walks in. And that's how it begins. The message, the look, the trembling words, the pause before speaking what's been held inside for too long. I never forgot you. I never stopped hoping. I'm here now, and I don't want to run anymore. There's something sacred about seeing them again, not just with your physical eyes, but through the eyes of the soul. You'll notice it instantly. The air shifts. Time slows. And something inside you whispers, this is what we were waiting for. It doesn't matter how long it's been. It doesn't matter how far they wandered. What matters is this moment, this return. And in that moment, everything unspoken begins to speak louder than words. Regret, longing, hope, truth. They may stumble at first. They may hesitate, afraid you've moved on, afraid they've waited too long. But still they speak. And their words, though simple, are drenched in sincerity. I've changed. I prayed about this. You've never left my heart. I don't want to let fear win again. And suddenly, your heart softens. Not because it forgot the pain, but because it recognizes the healing. It won't just be the two of you. You'll feel it in the air, the energy around you rising. A peace that settles. A warmth that covers you like divine sunlight. That's the angels, watching in stillness, smiling as prophecy is fulfilled. You'll know in that moment. This isn't just a human moment. This is heaven keeping its promise. When you hold them again, whether through a message, a voice, or physical arms, you'll feel something inside of you unlock. It's more than emotion. It's remembrance. You will feel your spirit calming, your heart racing with peace, not fear. Your entire being exhaling after years of tension. Because what you thought was gone forever has come back holier than before. Don't rush it. There'll be tears, laughter, moments of silence where words aren't needed, truths shared that you thought you'd never hear, apologies that break chains you didn't know still held you. You'll hear things like, "I was scared to reach out. I didn't think you'd want to hear from me, but something kept pulling me back. Now I understand." It was never just emotion. It was divine. The real miracle isn't that they came back. It's that they came back healed, honest, ready. They didn't return as the same version who left. And neither did you. Both of you had to walk your own desert. Both of you had to grow in silence. Both of you had to let God shape the parts of you that couldn't meet yet. Now you can. Now, you're both prepared to carry what was too fragile before. You don't need to overthink. Just be present. The love that's returning isn't coming to repeat old pain. It's coming to write a new covenant. So, don't compare this version of them to the one who left. Don't try to control what happens next. Don't rush into fear-based questions like, what if they leave again? Instead, trust the process. Heaven didn't bring this back together to let it fall apart. In the days after the reunion, you'll begin to notice a new sense of calm. Dreams that feel like confirmations. A synchronicity in your thoughts and theirs. Conversations that feel like soul recognition, not surface-level talk. A divine confidence that says, this is different. This is real. I receive this return with grace. I forgive the past. I bless this love. I believe in restoration through heaven's hand. Say it again. Let's sink in. Because when you declare it, you are agreeing with what heaven has already confirmed. The world taught you to chase butterflies. Heaven taught you to discern alignment. The world said love was emotion. Heaven says love is assignment. This connection, this return, was never meant to be a mere emotional high. It's always been about mission. Two souls, two lights, one divine plan. You were brought together to do more than comfort each other. You were brought together to awaken something that could only be born in union. When you touch, heaven touches through you. When you speak life into each other, heaven echoes your voice. When you love each other in grace, the ripple heals generations before and after you. This isn't just your story. This is your lineage's redemption arc. It's the breaking of generational fear, the healing of family wounds, the reversal of patterns that once felt permanent. You are not just chosen lovers. You are chosen leaders. Together, your love becomes a lighthouse. The reunion wasn't meant to put an end to your growth. It was meant to ignite the next phase. Because now that your hearts have found each other again, your callings will rise side by side. You will notice dreams returning, creativity unlocking, purpose becoming clearer, new doors opening that were closed when you were apart, a divine boldness stirring in both of you. Because your love was never ordinary. It was a spiritual catalyst. You'll find yourself inspired again. Ideas that once felt impossible suddenly feel doable. Your energy will rise. Your prayers will deepen. Your vision will stretch wider. Why? Because this is covenant energy, not just chemistry. When covenant is honored, heaven responds with acceleration. You'll build what you couldn't build before. You'll go places you only dreamed of. And you'll do it together, not in competition, but in completion. What the enemy tried to divide, heaven is now releasing as a weapon of light. Your partnership will carry prophetic strength, healing frequency, restoration energy, and divine assignment. When you speak together, things shift. When you pray together, realms respond. When you love each other deeply, Others learn how to receive and give love again. Because this isn't just love. This is legacy. Your story will become a testimony. Your wounds will become wisdom. Your delay will become someone else's deliverance. They'll watch you and say, if they could find their way back to each other, maybe I'm not too late. And heaven will smile. Because your union isn't just about healing your hearts. It's about restoring hope in others. A ministry birthed from your love story. A business that blesses and builds. A podcast or book about divine timing and love. Retreats, art, or healing work birthed in tandem. Or simply a quiet life that glorifies God through faith, unity, and grace. Not every purpose is public, but all purpose, when rooted in divine love, multiplies. You once thought you had to carry the burden by yourself, but God always planned to send someone to carry it with you. Not fix it for you, but walk beside you. And now that they're here, now that their soul has remembered, the load will feel lighter. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer alone. With great calling comes great spiritual resistance. And so, the angels ask you now, protect this love. Pray over this union. Don't let pride undo what heaven has redeemed. Don't let comparison dim what's uniquely yours. Don't let fear speak louder than truth. This love is rare, and rare things require guarding. But if you protect it in prayer, it will grow beyond what you imagined. This love is not just mine, it is heaven's gift. I will protect it. I will walk in purpose with it. I will honor it with my life. Speak it often, because what you declare in faith, heaven fortifies in spirit. You are not walking into a fairy tale. You are walking into a covenant. And covenant is sacred. Covenant is powerful. Covenant is your reward for believing when nothing made sense. You were never waiting in vain. You were being chosen. And now, together, you are being released into something that is not just beautiful, it is eternal. It once felt so far away, like a dream that belonged to someone else, like a whisper that faded before it ever reached your ears. But now you feel it, not in fireworks, not in noise, but in stillness. Peace, real, grounded, lasting peace. The kind that only comes when your soul recognizes that it is finally home. The love that once lived in silence is now standing beside you, in flesh, in soul, in truth. And you're not imagining this. You're living it. Right now, angels are surrounding you. They're not speaking, they're singing. Why? Because what once seemed impossible has happened. Two souls, separated by fear, silence, distance, and time, have finally chosen to return to what heaven always knew was theirs, each other. And this love, it's not rushed. It's not shallow. It's not incomplete. It is whole. The conversations are different now. There is no more pretending, no more proving. There is just presence. You no longer question the timing. You trust it. You no longer replay the pain. You've been healed. You no longer beg for clarity. You live in it. You wake up and know, this is who I prayed for. This is the love I carried in silence. This is the ending that feels like a beginning. When you speak, people listen. When you love, it inspires. When you walk together, spiritual ground is claimed. Because you're not just lovers. You're light bearers. You are examples. You are evidence. That love still wins. That God still honors alignment. That nothing is too lost for heaven to restore. No longer dreaming. No longer hoping. Now walking. This is sacred union. Love that does not fade in storms, because it was forged by fire. Love that does not flinch under pressure, because it was sealed by surrender. Love that doesn't exist to fill a void. It exists to overflow purpose. The version of you who waited, who doubted, who wondered if love would ever find you, they've been released. What remains now is someone stronger, wiser, deeper, ready, because this love didn't just restore your hope. It restored you. Together, you now live out what others only dream of. But not for applause, not for attention, for alignment. You are showing the world that timing matters, that purpose matters, that choosing each other again, after the silence, after the years, matters. This is the kind of love that changes the atmosphere. This is the kind of love that heaven sends only to those who endured the preparation. You did it. You believed. You endured. You stayed open. You followed every nudge, every whisper. And now, your reward stands before you. This love, this holy, unexpected, completely orchestrated love, is your gift. Not because you earned it, but because your heart was willing to wait for it. You'll build a future, a rhythm, a spiritual foundation that others will one day walk across. A life where peace leads and heaven dwells. This love is not just for holding, it's for creating. Together, your hands will plant legacy. Together, your voices will shift generations. Together, your prayers will birth new realms of light.